Hey, it's Ronald Paulius. In 2023, I was a school bus driver at a public school system. And in 2024, I transitioned to be a high school teacher. During that year, in January, I got into the real estate space, was doing it part-time, was knocking doors during my lunch break, pre-foreclosure doors, that is, and just working to make my way towards that financial freedom and dream, financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom that I just really wanted. You're on this channel, you're looking at this video because that's what you desire to. And I was doing it part-time. 8 months in 2024 of just taking action, joining the sub-2 community, networking in the space, I ended up getting a check that allowed me to quit and go full-time into this in 2024. And right now I'm standing in front of one of my projects. I'm gonna do a project walkthrough with you, talk about some things on this. This was a really fun deal, and it's going through renovations now. But a couple years ago, in 2024, never really thought I'd be here. In 2023, it was just a dream, a hope. Maybe I might could do it. Maybe I might could get in real estate. And so if you're watching and thinking to yourself, man, how am I to do it? I just want to let you know it's possible. You taking action, even if it's small, but if it's consistent, it ends up catching momentum and being a huge wave that just makes a huge difference in what you do going forward. And so I'm just here to say, take the small steps, make sure they're consistent, and watch the results compound. What I'm gonna do in this video is walk you through the projects, this project here, talk about how I found the deal and how I worked it, the nurturing that needed, and then I'm gonna share how it almost blew up and what I did to save the deal at the closing table. Yes, we were there signing, about to finish the signatures and boom, boom, be done, and it almost blew up. And I had to go in and save it, and probably had an hour conversation getting us back to where we could sign and go forward. So let's go through this and walk you through some of the details. So this was worse, way worse. I don't have a great editing person. I'm the one editing my own videos. So I can't really show you on B-roll what it all really looked like. Actually, what I might could do is, as I am, boom. Let's do photos on my phone. Let's do, boom. And I'm gonna show you what it looked like previously so that you can kind of see. So this is what the property looked like. You can kind of see some of those photos. It was, I mean, holes in the wall. It smelled horrible. This staircase right here, that is where that huge TV was. I mean, you couldn't even get around. I mean, it was horrible. Right now, the lights aren't on for some city stuff I'm doing. So you can't really see how big and huge of a change it's been. But just horrible, horrible, horrible. It smelled horrible. Needed tons of work, tons of trash. I had needed probably 6 dumpsters worth of 30 yards to get all this trash out. But you can just see, man. Electrical box doesn't even have a panel. Doesn't even have a cover. Just horrible. And it smelled worse than you can even imagine. It was horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And so this new HVAC, I mean, new everything. And so as you can see, Got new flooring in. Flooring's all done. All that flooring right there will be going to my next project. Painted can lights instead of what we had before. And here's the kitchen. This was a foreclosure lead, meaning it went to county, and I went to the county and said, hey, I'm going to look at all the ones that are in pre-foreclosure. And so I did, and I ended up working this one. This took several months to close, but I built great rapport with the person. I knocked the door. A lot of people like to call, text, etc. I knocked, showed up, had a conversation with the person. And what ended up happening was he was a big procrastinator, big procrastinator. He was actually going through some health concerns and health battles that made it to where he was in bed. He had a big surgery coming up. But he was in foreclosure. He was like, man, I need to be done with this. And his goal was to try to be done with this before the foreclosure was started. And I was like, yeah, I could help with that. Or before he goes into his surgery. It's like, yeah, I can help with that. Well, being the procrastinator he was and is, he just didn't really work with me to make it happen. But I was consistent. I stayed on him. That's one of the things you gotta do with pre-foreclosures. You gotta stay on top of them. And this is a side note, but managing contractors, look at this. They go straight down, it's off-centered. This has to be just right about there to be centered. And this mirror needs to be put on. And so I'm gonna close this thing. But work the lead. Did tons of follow-up because he's a procrastinator and was just slow to take action. At one point he told me, man, yeah, I got tons of people reaching out to sell or trying to buy it. And I was like, yeah, I wanna, I'm here to help. And he said, yeah, you've been consistent, so I'm just gonna work with you. So I realized I built great enough rapport with him to where he said, yeah, I'll just push forward working with you. And the way I built that rapport was knowing what I was talking about in the foreclosure space, bringing value, hearing his pain point, that being he wanted to walk away with $30-something thousand or whatever it was. And he owed about 60. And so we ended up contracting right at $95,000, which is great. Well, fast forward as we're going on with this, I'm going to show you this while I'm here. So you always got to be checking contractors, guys. So I was told by this guy who's doing this HVAC for me that he was planning to do it Tuesday. This is Thursday. It's been almost a month and a half. This guy's not been doing his work. I went with him because he was only $1,000 cheaper than the normal guy that I use. Guess what? I'm going to go back to my normal guy because I'm so frustrated with this person taking so long and not doing the job. I would rather pay $1,000 more to get the job done, inspections passed, than to sit and not have inspections pass and be paying money on my interest and my commercial loan. It's not worth it. But we're pushing forward. You can see all the trash. This is where all that trash was. a hot tub. I mean, it was just horrible, horrible, horrible. But we passed the electrical here. The amp upgrade. We got to pass another one. But we've been on track. So you see all that, the green on there? You can barely see it. That's me going through a garage conversion. And here is boom. City of Edmond. You see that? April. I'm recording this in June. And this is still not done, as you can see. What ended up happening, guys, was I got a contractor, an electrical guy, who helped me pass city permits in a different county. It came to this county, this city, and the city required 2 upgrades or 2 inspections because it was 2 different permits. Remember, I was doing an amp of, boom, approved. Yes. I just saw that this electrical thing was approved. Boom. Yes. I'm gonna tell my contractors to come here and do framing immediately. So what ended up happening was, you see all this work? This is from my previous electrical guy. He literally already did all the work. Like, all the boxes are in, the smoke detectors, the carbon stuff, like literally they're all in. What ended up happening was there was a language barrier. Guys, you lose money when you have language barriers. And I said, hey, the city wants 2 inspections. He said, no, you're messing with the city. Stop calling. This all through text, by the way. Stop calling them. You're messing with them. I was like, dude, call the city and tell, like, literally they want an amp upgrade inspection and permit and a branch and circuit wire permit. Like, it's not me. I'm not making this up. It's not me. And he thought I was making it up. He, in fact, called and texted my other electrical, or my contractor who did the framing, was like, he's messing with the city. I'm like, guys, you literally can call the city and the lady at the front desk will tell you, yes, it's 2 permits. You passed the amp upgrade one, which is the one he was like, man, we already passed it, we're good. But you didn't pass the branch and re-circuit because you didn't call for it. So he did all of this work. I literally called another electrical guy. I was like, hey, can you come look at this? He was like, it's already done. I was like, yeah, there was a language barrier, and the guy thought I was playing tricks on him or something, and he literally just didn't call the inspection. I told him, let me get on your account. I can request the inspection for you. I'm not making this up. Finally, I said, man, I think I'm gonna have to go another way. I always say it like that because I don't want to be the one to back out. I want them to back out. I said, hey, I think I'm gonna have to go another way. It gives them a chance to say, no, I'll fix it. And he was just like, yeah, go another way. So I did. I found another guy. This is a neighbor's house. Like, come on. I asked if we could go half on this, and they said no. My guy would do this whole thing just for $2,000, this whole thing. And they're like, no, this is $1,000 each. They don't want to do it. You have those types of neighbors sometimes. So what ended up happening on this is, so we're pushing forward. I literally just on this recording saw I pass my electrical on the branch recircuit today, the 19th. The 18th. Yeah, just past my electrical rough. I'll show you real quick. If you can see that electrical rough. So, right there, approved. That green means approve. Super excited. So we're pushing forward on this. We're gonna get this to the finish line. Woo, woo, I'm so excited. This is live. This is crazy. But guys, I told you that the deal almost blew up at the closing table. How? Remember, he had about 65K owed on this. We contracted at 95. The funny thing about this was I needed to be at 90. I needed to be at 90. And he's like, no, I'm at 95, you know? And I use all my closing tactics and this, and that. And you know what happened? The guy's like, no, I'm at 95. Like, dude, you know how much rehab I'm already, right now, I'm over budget on my rehab. I'm over budget. And I told him that I'm got to be conservative. Well, I'm over budget. And he said, no, this is where I'm going to be at. Later on, reflecting, I realized the dude wasn't a hard negotiator, because I was thinking, man, this guy's tough with negotiation. Oh, my word, he's not moving at all. I found out later, just reflecting and seeing how things went and talking to his sister, the guy was just simple. He didn't really understand the numbers and the mechanics of things and selling a house and all of that. In the sense of like deep dive on that, I actually found out later that he's a baby's boy, or he's a mama's boy. He's the youngest in the family, so his older sisters, his mom, his other family members babied him. So he really didn't have to do anything with life, I guess. So when he came to the house, the sister was like, yeah, he kind of doesn't understand all this. He's just stuck on 95,000, period. So I ended up coming up to 95. Guys, we got to the closing. We're there. And you know what ended up happening? Not just one, but 2 additional liens ended up coming out of nowhere. The guy started to bawl. He literally started to cry. We're there at closing. He's thinking he's getting $30,000. Guys, he's getting 0. Technically, if we get real technical with the contract, he had to pay to sell his house, because there was about a $2,000 or $3,000 difference. So that means either he's paying or I'm backing out. And I'm there at closing. He's mad. He's frustrated. And the sister's there too, the older sister who babies him. And they're like, yeah, we're going to back out. Like, we can't sell and make nothing on this. We thought we were going to make 30. We can't do anything. And what I ended up doing to save the deal, and this is a skill set that you need to cultivate, I went back to all of the pain points we talked about that I discovered and extracted. Okay. But, I mean, that foreclosure, this stops the foreclosure. You're trying to rebuild. You're going to the next phase of life. This stops the foreclosure from getting on your record. This stops it from following you for 7 years. Like, this stops that. What do you mean you're trying to do this, or that? Like, this stops that. I know you were wanting to make 30,000, but this allows you to not pay 95,000, 97,000. You see how I reframe that? A lot of people think in a situation like that, man, I'm not making the 30,000 I was hoping to make. And you got to reframe it for them and say, you're actually making way more by not paying $97,000, including all the implications of a foreclosure on your record. And so I'm so glad the sister was there, because she was leveling with me and reasoning with me. And I said, yes, this stops the foreclosure. And I told her, I was like, I didn't make this up. These aren't my numbers. Like, this is Bank First and this is First United. Like, those, they came out of nowhere, and I started digging. Where did they come from? And then I found out, oh, there was an ex-wife and this and that. And she signed stuff in his name and frustrated about that. I was like, oh, it's like, I'm so sorry. So sorry. Part of me is like, man, you're an adult. You should have been on top of those kinds of things. But the other part of me is like, man, they're hurting. This is frustrating for them. So I ended up saving the deal at the closing table. I told them, hey, I already told you I had to be conservative and then be at a different number. But since we're right here, everything's lined up and ready, I'm willing to go up. I'm willing to go up to make sure you get this foreclosure stopped. And they're like, oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Saved the deal at the closing table, got closed. But the way I saved it, this is where you gotta you gotta get skill sets and you gotta get creative. That's why I'm wearing Sub 2 hat. I'm part of a creative community. What ended up making, because remember I told you they have to pay at closing technically. I said, well, I'll go up. They're still getting 0, and that's still hard to eat and fathom and think through. So you know what I told them? We ended up doing a roof claim. It's a brand new roof on that. You see it? Brand new roof. We ended up doing a roof claim, and I told them, you know what? That roof claim was gonna go towards the roof. Just keep the check. Keep the check. I'll pay for the changing of the roof out of my own pocket and my own expense. And I'll pay that out of my own pocket and my own expense. And there's a depreciation check that they're gonna hold for you. I want you, like, just I'll send you pictures. I told them I'll send you pictures when the roof is done, so you can go back to the insurance and say, hey, the roof is done. Disperse the second check. And that allowed them to get about, I think it was $4,000 or $5,000. And they said, man, is there any way we can squeeze a little bit more out of you? I would really like to get 10. I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. This stops you from paying 97. They're like, okay, let's do it. And the reason I share that is because I hear so many people have deals blown up that could have been saved if they got creative, if they went a different route, if they worked out the details a different way. And part of it also is if you're not discovering pain, how do we make money in real estate? How do you make money, period? By solving people's pain. I paid, I think $400 or $500 for this camera, this contraption I'm holding. That's pretty awesome. What was my pain? I didn't want to be recording on my phone. I still need to get somebody to walk around and follow me, so it's a little bit different and better. I'm still like, holding it weird and whatnot. But I paid all that money because it was smooth. Just a click of a button, boom. My phone, I couldn't record on my phone by myself because I'd have to start the recording this way and then I have to stop it and then turn the camera and go that way. It doesn't simultaneously turn. This one does. Just boom, click of a button. All right, we're going. And then also the camera's, it's 4K, it's clean. This solved the pain for me and I was willing to dish out the money needed for it. Same in real estate. You are solving pain for sellers and you're buying at a discounted price. You're buying at a price that makes sense for the property. I'm already over budget on this. This was supposed to be a 45K rehab, a 50K rehab. No. I think I budgeted 50 with a 10K contingency, so I borrowed 60. I'm at 66. I'm probably gonna be at 70 when it's all said and done. I gotta finish framing. I gotta get a new hot water tank. I gotta finish the rough end or the final for the 2 electrical and framing, and then I still gotta do my HVAC. As you can see, it's not out there yet, the condenser. So it's become a situation where it's just like, ooh, it kind of add up, and that's why I be conservative. But guys, because I buy my deals, that's where the condenser is supposed to be. Because I buy my deals because I'm so conservative on my ARV, and I overestimate my rehab. Obviously, I need to overestimate a little bit more. I get great deals. So let's do the numbers on this real quick. Okay. So 240. This was a 215 ARV minus 60K, right? That's what I was predicting the ARV was. All right, conservative. So 215 times 70% is the formula I buy at. Minus 60K is what I took out. Put you 95. Remember I told you I went up to 95,000. So let's just do 215 times 75% minus 60. Okay, that's 101, meaning that's the highest I could buy it for with the 60K rehab and still be able to make profit on the back end through a refinance, through a sell, through keeping it as a rental. I ended up buying it at about, I think 97 it was the number, which is still under the 75%, which is great. I'm over rehab right now. Probably gonna be all in at 70. My bank says this is gonna appraise for 245 because I added a bedroom, made it five bedroom, 2 bath. So now let's do 245 times 75%. That's 183. Minus a $97,000 purchase, minus let's just say a 70K rehab. I can walk away with a $16,000 check when this is all said and done, even though it went over budget, it went longer than expected, and I ended up paying more than what I originally thought. And that's because I bought it so deep and I was conservative. That's how you win in this real estate space, and that's how you push forward. And that's just what you got to do. But super excited about this project. It's coming along. It's going to be a rental. I was wanting to make it a co-living, but I'm not at a place where I can put another $20,000 to get this all furnished like it needs to be furnished. So I'm going to end up just doing continuum of care, where I partner with a nonprofit organization to have this rented by one of their clients that needs some intensive care. They have a case manager. It's a little bit more risky, but it allows me to serve on the back end. I'm serving people who are needing their foreclosure to stop, buying the property, stopping it. And then on the back end, I'm serving people who need homes, who need a place to go, etc. So it's allowing me to really, really make progress in that end. And nonprofits typically have more budget to pay more, can pay higher because they know the risk. And so that allows us to keep pushing forward. So super excited, great potential. We can make it work. Just a matter of keep pushing forward. So here we are. Follow me on Instagram, Ronald Paulius. I'm always posting daily videos and pictures and all that about what I'm doing, giving tips. But the goal that I want you to leave with is the reality that in 23, I knew nothing about real estate. I was just on YouTube University learning from there. Jumped in 2024. 2026, I have several rentals, several fix and flips happening right now. And I just bought a house this morning. I bought a house Monday. I'm buying a house next week, and I'm buying another house at the end of this month as of June. I'm buying 4 rentals this month. And then I am selling one house this month that I'm actually selling 2 houses this month that I'll probably make around $60,000 on collectively. I would have never dreamed of this in 2023. It was just I know other people can do it. I don't know if I can. And here I am doing it. And it's all because I started to take action. I just want to say to you guys, take action. Take action. I told myself in 2024, after reading The Compound Effect, make this small and good, take the small and good actions consistently and watch the results compound. That's how I encourage myself, and that's how I reminded myself. Small is good. 1 call, a couple door knocks, a couple conversations. That's small, that's good. You'll have days where I made 20, 30 door knocks. That's big and wow. But as long as I'm making the base of small, 2 door knocks, pushing forward, helping people in pre-foreclosure, that was progress. Small, good, meaning I'm not making them. I'm having the conversations. I'm learning. I'm joining communities like Sub 2. I'm getting closing skills. I'm building rapport. I'm learning how to build rapport. And then watch the results compound. 2 years later, I made a goal when I was 26 to get 30 rentals by the time I turned 30. I have 5 right now. No, I have 6. I just bought one this morning. I have 6. That I turned 30 in 2 years. Well, really 18 months, I guess. Or 14 months, really. And I'm like, before I didn't know how I was going to get that goal. Now I'm like, man, I just need to buy 4 rentals in a month a couple more times, and I'm golden. I'm good. I probably will have more than I will ever need. And that's because I started to take the action, and the results are not compounding. The house I just bought today, this guy told me, dude, thank you so much. You're helping me. I'm getting some cash. I'm going on to the next chapter. And I'm going to give you more referrals. That's what he told me. You gotta take the action. The results will compound. And once it starts to compound, it's a bell curve, right? Just keep doing it. Keep pushing forward. Comment what you'd like to hear me talk about on the next video. Super excited about this one. We'll catch you.